Well, welcome back to Life with Nana. I'm Nana, and I'm so glad that you're here today. Today, we're going to make something special for Thanksgiving that's coming up here pretty soon. We're going to be making pecan pie hand pies. Now, you've seen me make my mama's chocolate fried pies, and so this is similar, but instead of using the chocolate filling, we're going to be using the pecan pie filling. I think that sounds wonderful. You could add some chocolate to this if you wanted to, and if you don't want to, that's fine too. So, the first thing I need to do is I have a little bit more than a cup of pecans, and I need to get them spread out on my baking sheet. And we're going to put these in the oven and just let them start toasting a little bit while our oven's coming up to temperature. You want to preheat your oven to 375 degrees. Now we're going to be taking some help from the store today by using pie crust just from the store. You can totally make your own pie crust if that's what you want to do. You can even do this with biscuit dough or something like that. Alright, so let me tell you what is going to be in these. We got 1 cup of pecans, finely chopped, and I just bought mine chopped, so I wouldn't have to do that. 1 cup of brown sugar, I've got that right here. We have 4 tablespoons of melted butter, so I've got that. Vanilla extract, it calls for a teaspoon, but you know we measure with our heart around here on that. A teaspoon of cinnamon, I have that sitting right there. You could also put orange zest in this if you wanted to. I didn't have any oranges, or I probably would have. 1 large egg, a tablespoon of milk, powdered sugar for dusting, and then 2 refrigerated pie crusts. And it calls for something called sanding sugar or granulated sugar. I don't know what sanding sugar is, so we will be doing just granulated sugar sprinkled on the top of these. It's what I'm thinking it's going to be. We're going to bake these in a 375 degree oven. And you're also going to need a cutter, just a round cookie cutter, or something about that size. This is about 4.5 inches, so maybe a bowl that you could put down on there or something like that. So it says to let the pecans, put them on a baking sheet for 5 or 6 minutes and let them kind of toast and do that. And when they're done, then we'll add them to the mixture that we're about to put together here. So the first thing we want to do is use our brown sugar, and it's about a cup, the melted butter, the vanilla. Now if you feel more comfortable measuring this out as a teaspoon, you go right ahead and do that. I like vanilla, so I'm just measuring it with my heart. It's probably more like a tablespoon, maybe even just a little bit more. My bottle's a little bit sticky. We've got a teaspoon of cinnamon, so we're going to put that in. And then you would put the orange zest in at this time. And you're just going to get this well combined. We're going to take about a tablespoon of milk and whisk that together with our egg and create an egg wash for these. Okay, so it says to lightly dust our mat here. You can also use parchment paper. We don't want to use too much. Let me shake these pecans. The pecans were in the freezer, so it may take them just a few minutes. I'm also going to get just a little bit of water. And a fork. Now a lot of times pecan pies call for corn syrup, but this time it didn't. And these have been in the refrigerator, so I should have laid them out. We'll wait while I'm going to get them out of these packages. And shake these again. It would really be better if you let this just lay out for just a little while, because it does that right there and it cracks. It will be all right. We'll mix these together. Push them back together. And I may get my rolling pin out and roll back over them, get them back together. We want to make these come. It would have been a lot better if I had let them come to room temperature, of course. But you guys know Nana's always in a hurry. I don't know why. No reason to be in a hurry, right? Let's check these pecans. We're going to add these into our sugar mixture. I'm going to lay this up here so that it cools off and we can put our pies right on that. Let's stir this together. Now this should make 12 pies, both of these crusts together. Alright. So the main thing when you're cutting out things like this, you want to try to keep it as close as possible to each other, right? And then that way you don't have as much to roll back out. So that's a nice size, I think. We want to go as close as we can. And pieces like this, we're going to lay over to the side because we're going to mix them and use them. So that's 3. We might get a few more. And if we run out of filling, I will just add some chocolate to some of these and make Mama's chocolate pies. And if you have a piece that comes apart like that, you can always take a little water and put down on it and it will go right back together. All right, so we're going to put this all together. Get us a little flour. And we're going to just mix it together. And we're going to start rolling these out. I'm going to go ahead and open this one and lay it out over here so that it can be coming up to room temperature. I get flour everywhere when I'm doing something like this. Alright, so we'll want to do our egg wash. There's a fork. And you're just going to add just a little bit of milk, maybe a tablespoon. I'm just going to eyeball it, but if you want to measure it, you go right ahead. I'm going to get just a little bit of sugar for the dusting. We'll have everything out right here. So I have a small little scooper here. And I'm going to start with the ones that I know are pretty well together. Kind of get myself in a rhythm. So you want it like a heaping spoonful. Maybe not. You'll know if you have too much. And I'm just going to take my finger and go right around the edge of this pie dough. That's going to help that stick together. We're just going to put just a little bit more filling in here in the corner. You'll get the drift when. All right. So we're just making a little pie. We're just going to go around and crimp the edges. You can make these bigger or smaller, however you want to do it. You also want to make sure that you put some little holes in the top So that one looks fantastic. Let's try this one that is a little kind of jaggedy. It came apart on me. Try to get it together. And I'm going to go the opposite way that it kind of broke, because I think that will work better. We're going to put our this will be beautiful. I love making things like this for the holidays. Something special that you wouldn't make, you know, every year. And I know I said a few videos ago that we're cutting back on sugar, and we've been doing a really good job with that. But, you know, during the holidays, everybody deserves a little treat. And these little vent holes are really important because you want to make sure that it doesn't just pop out and cause your seam to pop open. And that's likely anyway. So that could happen. We're just going to do all of these just like, these are turning out really pretty. I was thinking these are turning out so pretty. If I was doing them to take somewhere, they probably wouldn't turn out that good. Isn't that the way it always is? And you could use the same technique to do a savory pie. We've done those in the past. That would be really good too. This is the one that I kind of had to seam back together. So we'll see how it works. That one kind of came apart right there, so I'm just going to leave it and I'll put it to the kind of the front. Let's get a little more flour. That worked a lot better because that one had set out just a little longer. It probably would have worked out even better if we had let them set out for just another 30 minutes or so. But we do what we can do, right? Right. We're going to get all this back together. And the warmth of my hands will cause the dough to go back together pretty well. You don't want to overwork it if you can help it. We're just going to try to get one more. I'm not going to fight with this little bit of extra. I love making special treats for my family. I think it's so wonderful to do that. I actually think that it's wonderful to do it during the holidays, but I think it's even more special when you just do it on a random weekend, you know? So my friend over at Our Small Town Life, if you haven't checked out her channel, go over and check it out. It's wonderful. I love the fact that she lets her children help her so much in the kitchen. So many times we just are ready to get things done and we don't think about building memories and things like that. You know, you're just tired, you want to get things done. And I get that. But she's so good. She takes her kids around to all the places that she's showing all of us. And you get a really good glimpse of Alabama. But what I love most about her, not only is she a sweet friend to me, she's helped me a lot understanding things about YouTube and making videos and all that kind of thing. But she loves letting her children help her out. Yeah, go over and check out her channel and leave a comment saying Mama sent you, so she'll know that I sent you her way. And I know a lot of you, when she made the tortellini soup that Suzanne had sent the recipe for, she mentioned that, you know, she was inspired by the video I had put out and by Suzanne's recipe. And so I noticed quite a few of you came over from her channel, and I certainly do appreciate that. All right, let's see how many we wound up with. Let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. Looks like about 16. So we got a few more than they were talking about. We're going to now brush them with the egg wash. We're going to sprinkle the top with sugar. And these are going to bake for about 15 minutes. If you had that real flaky sugar, that would be pretty. I don't have any of that on hand. All right. Let's get these in the oven. All right, so we've got these out of the oven and they look wonderful. We did have some seepage around some of them, but that's just fine. All right, so we're going to get these moved over to our cooling rack, but I am going to put some paper towel under it because some of them are kind of seeping a little bit. I'm going to try to get the ones that are not first, and that'll give me more room for the other ones. Okay, so we're going to put a little bit of powdered sugar over these. Don't need a lot. These are beautiful. These are spectacular. They're so pretty. I'm going to get this one. I'm going to get this one that's kind of broken. You can see how it kind of broke open a little bit on me. That doesn't affect the taste. So let's see how these taste. That first bite was mostly pie crust. Very good though. Y'all have got to try this recipe. These are fabulous. These are so good. That flaky pie crust. And you can totally make your own pie crust. It's not hard to do. Nana was just tired and I decided I would just take some help from the store. There's no shame in that. Nothing wrong with that at all. If you don't want to make pie crust, just buy some at the store. But know how to make pie crust. That's what I want you to get from all the things I show you. I take help from the store a lot of times, but I know how to make pie crust. I know how to make biscuits. I know how to make all of these things. So, last bite. I can't even tell you how good that is. It is so delicious. I can't wait for you to try this. I can't wait for you to try this recipe. Remember that Nana loves you. Remember, I'm so, so proud of you. And remember, you always have a friend here. I'll see you on the next one.